welcome. And I am going to do my Junji Ito book collection. I wanted to show you my collection by one of my favorite horror manga artists and creators, Junji Ito. And I'll put a picture of him right here. First, I'm going to start by letting you know what I'm currently reading, which is Smashed. This is a short story collection, and I'm just roughly about two couple stories in, and I'm loving it so far. But I just wanted to show you the cover. I'll give you a little glimpse of inside the book. He's a brilliant artist. I really love his work. But this is what I'm currently reading. And the next one I have is called No Longer Human. I just recently acquired this. It's kind of a break from the horror manga. It does have a horror aspect, but this book you want to go in with caution because it does have a lot of sensitive topics, sexual abuse of minor, suicide, lots of different sensitive topics. So please go into this book with caution. But it's a very good book. It's actually based on a book by Osamu Dazai. I'm sorry if I didn't say his name correct, but it's an original novel by Osamu Dazai, and I happen to have that and am reading that now, which is called No Longer Human. So I'm doing a little bit of a comparison between the two. But yeah, that's No Longer Human. The next one I just recently finished is called Venus in the Blind Spot, and it is another short story collection. I'll go ahead and take the cover off and let you see their beautiful hardcover books. But this is Venus in the Blind Spot. And of course, manga, you start reading it from this way. And this pulls out. I'll just show you some of this. Isn't that just beautiful? This one. Creepy. I've recently read this, and this is again another short story compilation. And if you look at the beginning, it will tell you it has a table of contents that include the titles of all the stories. So another brilliant one. And then I have one of his newest ones called Romina, and this is kind of a sci-fi horror. This is about this is not a short story collection. This is actually a full-on one story. This is a sci-fi collection about a scientist and his daughter. He names a planet after his daughter Romina, and it destroys the other planets, and it's just, it's a very good book if you like sci-fi horror, which I do. I'm into any kind of horror, so Romina. And the next one is called Fragments of Horror. I really love this cover because it's a play on my favorite painting, The Scream. Again, if you open it up, there's a beautiful dust jacket that opens up into a beautiful hardback. Look at that. I really enjoy it. I finished this one recently. And this is a compilation of short stories. You got Futon, Wooden Spirit, Tomio, Red Turtleneck, let's see, Gentle Goodbye, Dissection Sean, Blackbird, Megami, Nanukuse, Whispering Woman, and then, of course. But this is a really good one. The next one I want to show that I have is called Dissolving Classroom. This is a paperback. I couldn't find this in hardback, but this is actually, it's short stories, but they're all linked together, and it's all the same characters. It follows a brother and a sister. The brother has made a deal, basically has made a pact with the devil, and he apologizes to everybody. And when he does, everybody turns to melts, and the sister feeds off the remains, basically. Very creepy. Good story by Junji Ito. I want to say it's one book, but their stories are all linked together because this brother and the sister move around and cause mayhem, basically. And see, the next one we got is Gyo. It's a beautiful hardback. This, again, is a compilation, I want to say a compilation of short stories. And if you, they all intertwine and link together. But this is basically about a stench. These you really want to go into blind. It just makes the experience so much better if you go into it blind. So I'm not going to go into a lot of what all the stories are about, but I just wanted to show you the collection that I have. Okay, we got about 4 more. Oh. Next one is one of his famous ones, Uzumaki, a very big book. This is yet another collection of short stories. I'll just show you, and look at the inside illustrations. Very cool. Very, I have not read this one. I read part of it, but I've not completed it, but I am currently reading through all of them, so I will be reading this in its entirety shortly. And the next one, an even bigger one, is called Tomi. And I believe all these stories follow the main character, because you get a little glimpse of her in Venus and the, well, I want to say, no, actually in Shiver. I'm sorry. But she's like a model, and she's just a bunch of stories around her, horror stories around her. You can see this is pretty thick, and this one also has illustrations on the back. Really beautiful illustrations. And this one is pretty good. Frankenstein. It's his take on Frankenstein. It does have some other stories. It has Frankenstein, Next Spectre, Bog of Living Spirits, Pen Pal, Intruder. So they're different. They're just not just Frankenstein, but it has other stories. But Frankenstein is the longest story in there. But it is also pretty good. And I believe this one has some... Oh, I'll give you a little glimpse of the art here. But that is Frankenstein. And last but not least, Shiver. This is one of my favorite looking ones. This is the very last one I just completed. I still have it tabbed. This one is also another compilation. If you look here in the corner, it's basically his selected stories. And I'll show you the one I was talking about. That let's see. This is the one I'm talking about that introduces you to the character of Tomi. It's called Painter. I'll put her up here. But yeah, that's an introduction to that character. She's obviously in the Tomi book. But yeah, that's all the Junji Ito books I have. And of course I showed you Smashed. Which I still need to read. Frankenstein in its entirety, Tomi, Uzumaki, and that's, I believe, it. I've read all the others in its entirety and complete this. This isn't Junji Ito, but it's Osamu Dazai. It's basically the adaptation of No Longer Human. I just wanted to read it after and just compare the two. Seems to be going pretty similar to the manga. Almost exact, to be honest, but yeah. The story I'm on right now is about a ghost flood. It's called Roar. So I'm not quite done, but got a little bit longer. Got a little bit more left of that, about that much. So I will be going right now to finish that up and hopefully finish this tonight, and No Longer Human, and then probably get into Frankenstein and just read it from its entirety. And then we'll get into I like to call the big guns, the Tomi Uzumaki. I have read Gyo. Actually, I have read Gyo in its entirety, but I might reread that as well. But yeah, that is my Junji Ito collection. I hope you liked it. I'll be doing more in-depth reviews of his work. If you let me know in the comments if you want reviews of story by story. And also, I want to do a big review of No Longer Human once I finish the adaptation, or the original novel, and do my thoughts and feels and a comparison of the two. But I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you want to see any more in-depth reviews of his stuff. A lot of his work, again, is horror, so you want to go into his work with caution if you're sensitive to that, because it's a lot of body horror. And I like to say that there's a huge difference between American horror and Japanese horror, because a lot of the Japanese horror, what he does is the body is really, really, really graphic, but his illustrations are just brilliant and genius, and that's why I love reading him so much. But yeah, comment below and like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.